In Kilmainham prison, one of those leaders, Michael Mallin, a silk weaver by trade, is facing execution. From his cell, certain of his impending death, he writes to his wife Agnes, pregnant with their 5th child.
My darling wife, this is the end to all things earthly. Sentence of death has been passed. At 3:15 tomorrow, the sentence will be carried out by shooting, and so must Irish men pay for trying to make Ireland a free nation. I would ask a special favour of you, wife of my heart, but I leave you absolutely free in the matter. Don't give your love to any other man. My life is numbered by hours now, my darling. I am drawing nearer and nearer to God. I am prepared, but my darling, if only you and the little ones were coming too, if we could all reach heaven together. My darling, remember me. I must now prepare. These last few hours must be spent with God alone. Your loving husband, Michael Mallin, Commandant Stephen's Green Command. I enclose the buttons off my sleeve. Keep them in memory of me. Mike.
Well, we have with us now Una Callanan and Brian Hughes, who's the author of Michael Mallin, 16 Lives. And Una, you're the granddaughter.
That's correct.
Of Michael Mallin.
Yes.
What's it like watching that?
I find it very difficult because I cry every time I see that letter.
And your father, Seamus, was 12 at the time.
He was 12 when his father was executed, yes.
And did he get to see his father before he was...
He did, the night before.
What happened?
He was actually taken from his bed and brought to the jail.
And do we know anything about that encounter between your father and your grandfather?
My father said that up to that time, he said, I always thought I was grown up. But that particular night, I was a child again. Because I couldn't believe that I would never see my father again. The others, his siblings were also there.
Were they?
They were.
And again, did they talk about it in any sense, or did it take for a long time for them to be able to discuss it?
You mean after?
After, yeah.
No, when I was growing up, he never spoke about it at all. I think he was too traumatized.
And your grandmother left with 5 children, Agnes.
Agnes, that's correct, Agnes Hickey.
Tell me about Agnes Hickey and how she coped, or what we know about how she dealt with it all.
Well, when she never actually spoke about that to her children, about her father, because she wanted them to have a happy childhood,
yes,
which she did give them. But it was extremely difficult for her.
Brian Hughes, you were the author of 16 Lives, Michael Mallin.
That's right.
And it must be intriguing for you to sit beside Michael's granddaughter here and listen.
Yeah, that's the letter that encouraged me to research Michael Mallin in the first place, because it's a tough read.
I think people will be intrigued who haven't all the details of Michael Mallin's background to hear me introduce him as a silk weaver. So how does somebody with that trade end up as a absolutely key figure in the rebellion?
Well, I think ironically enough, it probably begins in the British Army. At the age of 14, he joined the army, attracted by the band more than anything else, on his music. And he saw service in India, and while he's in India, you might say he was radicalised to some extent, came to question his own role and the war that he was fighting in the British Army at that stage. And I think Agnes Hickey played an important part in that as well. They had kept up a correspondence the whole time he was there. Then at some stage in 1914, he joined the Irish Citizen Army, Very quick rise through the ranks. By October 1914, he was Chief of Staff, so essentially second in command of the Citizen Army to James Connolly. So once Connolly had committed the Citizen Army to rebellion in January 1916, Mallin's role was there.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your story with us.
No,
We really appreciate it. And Brian,
Pleasure.
thanks for giving us the background also.